Section 1.4 is titled Simplifying Algebraic Expressions. We'll look how to simplify both algebraic and numeric expressions, and then also how to evaluate algebraic expressions. When simplifying algebraic and numeric expressions or evaluating those, we have to adhere to order of operations. You might have seen the word PEMDAS before. PEMDAS stands for, and it's written out this way too, parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add, subtract. Always working across the problem from left to right. Let these two kind of go together, and those two kind of go together as well. But those are the order of operations that we'll always adhere to, so therefore we always end at the same result. Okay, evaluating a numeric expression using order of operations. First thing I'm going to do is look for anything inside of parentheses. And I see a small set of parentheses here on the furthest inside, but there's nothing to do to that set of parentheses. There's only one number in it, so it's done. I'm going to kind of ignore that set. And I'm going to look right here inside these parentheses, and we're going to attempt to simplify inside there. Okay, so right here is where we're looking. Let me just rewrite that even right here. Okay, so let's just look at that. We'll bring the rest back when we are ready for it. So inside of these set of parentheses, we have three operations. We've got subtraction, we've got multiplication, and we've got an exponent. Okay, so I had subtraction, multiply, exponent. Exponent is the one that has to come first. So I've got 30 minus 4 times, and I work out this exponent. 2 squared is 4. Okay. Well, now we have two operations. We have subtract and we have multiply. And in order of operations, multiply comes first. So 4 times 4 makes 16. Now we can subtract. 30 minus 16 is 14. Okay. Well, now at this point, that's not done. Let's bring back the rest of the problem. The rest of the problem had a 2 in front of the parentheses. We also had this divide by 7. Okay, so now we're ready to finish this problem. And when you multiply and divide, they are kind of the same operation here. You just do from left to right. And that's what I have left. I have a multiply and I have a divide. So I'm going to go from left to right. I'm going to multiply first. 2 times 14 is 28. And then finally 28 divided by 7 is 4. So there it is, showing every single step. Of course, once you get the hang of it, you'll kind of know what steps can be combined or skipped, or you could do multiple steps at the same time. But there it is, showing all the work from beginning to end. When evaluating an algebraic expression, it basically has one more step than what we just did on the previous slide. And that is, we've got to take the numbers for x and the number for y and place them into all the x's and y's that we see in the problem. Okay, and then we can go with order of operations and start simplifying. So we've got the numerator of this fraction, 3 times 2 times 4, divided by the denominator is 2 squared minus 9 times 4 plus 2. Now when you work out a fraction, even though they're not there, you can actually do it this way. You can think of everything in the numerator as being in parentheses and everything in the denominator as being in parentheses, and this divide between them, this division, will be your last step. It's going to be your last step because we're going to do everything inside each set of parentheses first, and then we'll just have a number divided by a number. It'll be the only operation left, and so that's how we'll finish. So in the numerator, 3 times 2 times 4, we're just going to multiply across from left to right. 3 times 2 makes 6, and 6 times 4 makes 24. The denominator, I'll do it in a couple steps. 2 squared is 4, minus 9 times 4 is 36, plus 2. So let's go across here. So we've got 24 divided by, now I'm going to combine all this stuff in the denominator. So 4 minus 36 plus 2 should be negative 30. And then I'm going to divide as the last step, and when I divide this, it's just like reducing the fraction. Both these numbers divide by 6, so we're going to get the number negative 4/5. Finally, in this section, we look at how to simplify an algebraic expression. Different than evaluating what we just did. Evaluating was plugging numbers in for variables. Simplifying the expression, we leave all the variables, and the aim is to combine like terms. Okay? Like terms are things that look alike. So for instance, this term 4x squared looks like this term because they both have x squareds. Okay? This minus 6 looks like this 19 because they are both terms that don't have any x's in them. Okay? This xy term doesn't look like anything else because there are no other terms that have both x and y in it. So now we're going to combine the like terms. And combining the like terms, we just add or subtract the coefficients. So 4x squared plus 2x squared gives me 6x squared. I'm going to go ahead and throw this 3xy down next. And I've got minus 6, so a negative 6 and a positive 19, which comes out to positive 13. Okay, that's finished. I know it's finished when I have only one term of every type of term in the problem. And next problem, I see this x to the third term in front, and I see an x to the third in back. So those are like terms. They look similar. I see this x term, and I see this x term. And they're similar. I see this x squared term, and I don't see any other x squared things, so it's the only thing that's by itself, or that looks like it, so it's going to stay as it is in the final answer. So we've got the x to the thirds first. 4x to the third minus, this one is like having a 1 here, minus 1x to the third gives me 3x to the third. I'm going to go ahead and pull down that 3x squared next. And then I've got negative 2x and positive 5x. So negative 2 and positive 5 is positive 3x. And that's finished.